I became a Christian in December of 1969. I was just a regular kid growing up in, small town Georgia. I never was really rebellious or anything like that. I was more planning my escape. I was moral, and my parents really did a good job of teaching us to be moral and be concerned about the reputation of our family. So I was going to wait till I got to the University of Georgia and then do whatever I wanted to do. And during my junior year, I had several classmates that had become Christians, and I didn't know it then, but they were witnessing to me. It just irritated me because it wasn't Sunday, and I wasn't at church, so they shouldn't be talking to me about anything that was religious. That fall, a number of things happened that caused me to decide to go to one of their meetings. And actually, the Lord just opened my ears to hear the gospel. And it was different than what I was hearing in the church that I was a member of. It was very much social Christianity, and this was really about my soul. And so it was disturbing to me. And so that winter, I went to a conference, and I really heard the gospel. It was Carl Wilson who founded WDA. He also taught later on at RTS in Orlando. But he preached on Revelation chapter 1 and showed me a vision of Christ, the exalted Christ, that just captivated my soul. So I was converted very profoundly, and I don't think I walked on the earth for about the next 3 months, but I had a profound sense of my sin, my need for Christ, my need for forgiveness, and a spiritual hunger that from that day to this has not waned. I was an undergraduate in psychology, and I didn't really do that much studying. I was trying to think, what am I going to do when I graduate? I had at times entertained ministry because I felt like some of the church experience I had was so shallow that even if I just read the Bible, it would be better than some of the stuff I'd heard. There would be some more substance there. So I wrote a guy named a Dr. Henry Brandt. He had spoken at several conferences for Crusade, and so I wrote him and asked him, what would you advise me to do? And he wrote me back and said, if you go to a secular university and study psychology, you'll be sitting under the counsel of the ungodly. So what you ought to do is go study the Bible first, so you can know what the truth is, and then you could go and study and discern truth from error. I thought that makes perfect sense. So I started looking, where would I go to seminary? Trinity seemed to be maybe give me a little bit more freedom to think for myself. And also Trinity had a master's in pastoral counseling. So I thought, okay, I'll go there. And I don't know why this is the case, but somehow God gave me the sense, I had this perspective, this sort of conviction that it was more important that I be involved in a church than it was even my degree. So early on, I said, we're going to get involved in a church. And I know that a bunch of students in college looked at the campus organization as kind of like their church or substitute for their church. And that seemed to me to be wrong. And then I saw some of the same attitude by students at Trinity who had been in campus ministries. They looked at Trinity that way. And they were very complaining about the campus life because they were really wanting it to be their church. And they wanted seminary professors to be there, disciple them. And they should have found that in a local church. I was persuaded early on the affirmation of that local church with regard to whether I had ministry gifts would be more important than my seminary degree. That I would have their affirmation in my hand, and my seminary degree in my back pocket. And so the Lord used that sort of to push me. Every year, my gifts became more evident, that they were pastoral in nature and that they were preaching, teaching. I was convinced that's where God was calling me.
Hi, my name is David Wilson. I'm the director for Bent Tree. Why are we doing these videos? It's because we want to tell people stories. We think as they tell their stories, they bring you into their story. And we think that if you hear their stories, maybe you'll have the courage to tell yours, or that you'll ask other people about theirs. We think this is a worthwhile ministry for you to invest in. If you'll see at the end of these videos, there'll be a link for you to see if you could donate to us. We sure could use the help. Thank you.